Hey, this is Grab and Go, and I'm listening to this lady right here speak on the news channel, and actually, it's making me wonder, should we be looking at taking some money out of our banks? She's talking about bank institutions prepping for cyber attacks. And at the end of this, because I just rewound it to record a little bit for you guys, so at the end of it, she's like, it's coming. I mean, it's like she's everything but just flat out saying, hey, it is definitely going to happen. So let's listen to her a bit here.
Would be like kicking us when we're down.
Do we have the defensive capabilities to stop Putin?
I really think we do. And, the entire government apparatus in the US right now has mobilized to say, hey, private sector, shields up. So that is from the Cybersecurity Infrastructure Security Agency. And they're saying no matter what area you work in, no matter even if you're a critical infrastructure company, if you're part of our comms lines, if you're part of our banking system, if you're part of our power grid, it doesn't matter. Every private company right now is a potential attack vector for Russia. So everybody get your.
So every private company right now is at risk. This is just kind of getting close to home here, people.
Shields up, adopt those heightened security postures, and be on your guard. It's critical that you update your systems, you pass, that you use multi-factor authentication, VPNs, if your workers or any work is done remotely, verify that remote work access. So it's absolutely critical that every private U.S. company defend itself at this point.
Kara from
Wow, it's telling us all to defend ourselves. It's like it could even be it could even be happening right now if they're saying defend yourselves. So what can we do at home? We could try to make sure we've got the multi-factor.
Yeah, like for your Gmail, for your school, for your personal accounts with things. If they offer multi-factor, where it goes to your phone, your cell phone, or another email address where you have to authenticate. That's multi-factor authentication.
All right,
you can also get software that's probably going to be like your best thing. You can go to McAfee, you can go to Total AV, you can do what's the other one and like
Norton Utilities, I think.
Norton, those are all good options. VPN if you work from home for remote, a virtual private network to help remote calling in.
Defense to offense. Should we go on offense first?
Those are all good ideas.
When it comes to Russian state actors, I think prudence is absolutely necessary here. But it's the non-state actors, it's those hacktivists, it's those cyber criminals. I think I cannot stress enough how they're really increasing the fog of war. Lone actors might potentially go and conduct an attack, and we have to make sure that we are, the murkiness of attribution. They do it on purpose, but we have to make sure that we are acting prudently here, because this basically just heightens the confusion when it comes to war, and we have to be sure that we're not letting certain attacks be interpreted as proxy attacks by Russia. So we do have the power to defend ourselves, but I'm really worried about those other actors that are not the GRU in Russia, that are not necessarily these state-linked actors. Very critical to keep an eye on that and make sure attribution is critical.
Is there anything the average American can do to protect themselves, or is this so high level it's really out of their hands?
No, I think the average American citizen must also.
All right, I hit pause here for a minute because we've got to hear what she's saying. The majority of you people listening to my channel are like the average American citizens, I think, kind of like myself. So let's all listen to her and see what we need to do to protect ourselves.
Act as, well, like I said before, defend itself like those private companies. Update your systems, patch, continue to use multi-factor authentication. Make sure your family is using it as well. So act as little companies, right? We can be little platoons in and of ourselves. So, I tell people that you might not be interested in cybersecurity, but cybersecurity is interested in you. So make sure that you're always updating your systems, that you're patching, that you're testing those patches, doing whatever you can in order to inoculate yourself against, frankly, what I think is probably coming, whether from Russia or those lone actors or those hacktivists.
a frightening prediction, but good advice nonetheless. Kara Frederick, always great to see you, my friend. Thank you very much. Carly.
Also, what's important is to make sure you're looking at your machine, like the CPU, and looking at the memory. What's going on? Just look at, is your computer slower than normal? Is it not turning on as fast? And look for signs that there could be a virus. Make sure you're running scans, not just leaving things up, but make sure you're running scans and you have firewall protections.
What about all these things that I get on my phone and I'm trying to read it? It's like a little short article and I'll go click it to read it on my cell phone, and I'm suddenly being bombarded with all of these warnings. They're wanting to get cookies. I have never clicked on all these things going on, like Kanye West. Different things going on. So I want to click the article and read it.
The biggest thing is,
and it's telling me now we are accepting cookies. To finish reading this article, you have to click to accept these cookies.
The biggest thing is to look at the link you're going to. Is that a trusted link? Is the word the right word of the link? Because people can use social engineering to take you to a link and you think you're clicking a button, and in reality it's it's kind of like a Trojan. You accept it and it's like, oh, I think it's okay, I agree, and you just, unbeknownst to you just you allowed a virus to come take place on your system. And so you really need to make sure you trust the sites you're going to, legitimate sites. You're not just clicking on some weird sites. Make sure it's HTTPS at the top, not HTTP. You can go to your browser settings and make it to where the only sites you allow to go to are HTTPS. You can also make it to where they're strict, not just a balance. You can have it on strict settings. You can also have it to where it blocks any unknown downloads, and it's only a download that you personally agree to. And it'll every time you go to download something, it'll pop up, do you agree to this? And I like to run software. I like to run a malware scan on anything I download before I even go through it.
Well, see, the things that I'm looking at with cookies, it says, do you agree or do you allow cookies? And if I hit no, or I'm not going to allow the cookies, or no, I don't agree, then all of a sudden I can't read the article.
Well,
and I have never been bombarded in the past few days by this many things. Because usually if I see that, I exit out. I'm like, it's not worth getting cookies on my phone. But now it's seems like every single thing
usually
I click in.
If you go through, you can clear cookies. You can clear cookies if that is a concern. But cookies can be, like I said, if it's a bad site. It's
well, they say they're gathering data on you.
What I'm getting to is, if you decline cookies, it's kind of like a terms of service to use their site or not.
That's what it says. And they want to gather my data while I'm on there. But the big thing is I've never, so many times just today, just in one day, it's happening too frequently. Like when I go on my cell phone and you click on the big G, that's what I call it for Google, the big G. And it'll have some interesting things you want to read, like they're like, Kanye West has threatened Pete Davidson again. And you're like, what? What's he done now? So you want to click that. And it's like, what's Kanye done to this little kid, Pete? And, you click it and you're on there. And then all of a sudden it says, this takes cookies and we collect information from you. I mean, it gives you a disclaimer on what they're doing. And it's like, I don't want everyone to know I'm reading this stuff about Kanye and Pete Davidson, and who are they going to be telling? I mean, that's just for instance, but I could be in something bigger.
Yeah, there are different types of cookies. There are cookies that they can put on your phone. There are cookies that just track it temporarily.
And are they tracking when I go log into the bank?
Yeah, precisely. So
yeah, I mean, how much are they taking away from me? Are they going through my photos? Are they going through my phone numbers?
Now, if it's gonna go through your photos, that's a different application. So I don't think you would go so far as to that. You know, unless you installed an app and it said, "Let me have access to your pictures."
But so yeah, we do definitely need to
for something she said about
we definitely do need to be more precautious, like what she said, and with these great ideas that you mentioned too. All right, this is grab and go advice. Watching the news with you, taking a moment here and there, pointing out some pointers to you. Gosh, you just got to stay on top of this. We don't know what's going to happen next.
Oh, and if you get a text message, never click a link someone sends you. Just never do it. Never ever do it.
Spread peace. Spread love. And as always, spread happiness.
Have a blessed day.